As we heard there, Mr. Trump is appointing allies in Washington. He's also meeting foreign leaders. He began by meeting Prime Minister Abe of Japan. But what about the other key people, the voters who put Donald Trump there? That's what I've been asking author and political analyst David Paul Kuhn about.
Ultimately, the President of the United States is the head of state and head of government. So the easier part is pleasing them symbolically. And that is, of course, that they crave a strong president, a strong presence, a sense of, as the slogan goes, America first. The policy context of as head of government will be more difficult, and that's the heavy lifting, to pardon the pun, especially when it comes to infrastructure. He's got two places on a policy, in a policy framework to please these voters, the white working class, the core of the constituency that made Donald Trump president of the United States, or the president-elect. And one is infrastructure and the other is immigration. Immigration will be extremely difficult and very divisive. If he's smart, he pushes infrastructure first on the policy front.
And in pushing infrastructure, do you think that Donald Trump and his allies in Congress can get Democrats on board?
In many respects, Democrats will be easier than Republicans. The Republicans face an existential problem. Before 2016, the majority of Republican voters were actually the white working class, whites without a college education, without a college degree. But now Donald Trump effectively won solely on their shoulders. And so the challenge for the Republican Party is to recognize that really since the 1980s, as they became the party of hypercapitalism, the majority of their voters were casualties of that capitalism. And now Donald Trump will have to get the party of smaller government to do more for the white working class. So I would say that in many respects, the challenge is on the right of Donald Trump when it comes to infrastructure, not his left.
Is there a way, David, in which he has an advantage? There's a lot of criticism of the fact he's held no elected office ever, but I suppose you could say he can then go to Congress, to members of Congress, and go, no, we're doing things completely differently, and if that means crossing party lines, I'll do it.
Yeah, so that's the question with Donald Trump. Throughout the campaign, we came to these moments where we look at Donald Trump's lack of a past, or that he's pragmatic, or that he's shifted his party allegiance, and we wondered, would he be more pragmatic? Would he be more reasonable? And he continuously, let's just say, went against the grain, at least what analysts thought. To be sure, Donald Trump is not ideological, and if he wanted to, he lacks the baggage of an ideologue on either party. And in that sense, he could put together a coalition that defies party lines and in some ways proves Washington can work again.
David Kuhn.